Welcome to the back nine of round one of the 2021 Highland Open. As you can see, scores are fairly close, only separated by a few here to the front. Hole 10 is a short, steep uphill, 230 foot. There is OB left and past the basket. Nick Reliford takes the lefty hyzer line, and that should work out pretty well. This is steeply uphill. There's a lot of trees to try to get past and a very low ceiling. So I think he still left himself a bit of a putt. Aren Dow going with the uphill. It's either a putt or a mid-range.
Oh, no.
That's about the worst roll away you can get. The downhill took him almost all the way back to the tee pad. I like the flick line here, just trying to flex something over stable. I missed my line a bit, but that gets up there. I'll have a long look for birdie, but it'll be an easy par. Here we have Adrian. Spicy. And this line is good, but he has juiced it a little bit. And I don't know that he knew that there was out of bounds past the basket.
Every shot in your bag.
That was good.
Aaron's second shot was a doozy, and that put him right up by the basket. Here I am. Got about a 35 or 40 footer, but with some trees in the way. So I tried to do a little Annie thing, and instead it looked like a great upshot. Birdie attempt from Nick, just a little low. See if Aren can clean up this par after that awful roll. He looks locked in. And there we go. And Adrian to save his par after the OB. And that's back-to-back holes if you go back to the front nine, where Adrian just missed a putt you'd really think he'd have. Hole 11, par 4, 610 feet. This is an adjustment from a hole in previous layouts. We've lengthened it. This used to be about a 350-foot par 3, but instead we've made it a par 4. We put the basket down near some ponds that exist down there. There used to be a short throw over the pond type hole. Again, a lot of these changes have been made not only for difficulty, but to help flow of the course. So by extending this one, we were able to add another par 4.
Is that what you thought you were going to do?
Not great from my part. Aren had just barely missed that tree, and I decided to hug it a little tighter. I dropped straight down. Adrian just sends this one. For a pure hyzer, he is inbounds and is going to have about as easy an upshot as you could. All right, so I decided to try to throw the hero shot. I still have 500 feet left, but I decided to go full send. I yank it a bit. And this is OB right in a place that I didn't think people would even try to get to. I did get a good distance up the fairway, but that's not what I wanted to do at all. Upshot from Aren. Pretty decent. This hole is difficult on the approach and easy off the tee unless you do what I did. But basically, if you throw two clean 300-plus shots, it's very birdieable. You cannot see the pond or the OB sidewalk from here. Decent upshot from Nick there. I think he's a little short. So here I am. Now I have the lake. I have ponds on both sides I have to worry about here. So I was a little concerned. And I fluffed it a little, but I am up there with a putt to try to save my 5, I believe. You see how close Adrian got there. Nick for his birdie. You see one pond on that side. This is me to try to save a bogey. And I almost finally make a putt, but I still don't. Aren for an easy birdie. Count that in all day the way he's been putting. Par for Nick. And then Adrian, I believe, is parked for his birdie. That's got to feel good after missing a couple close ones earlier in the round. Just tap that in. call it a day.
Nice.
And this is kind of where the wheels fell off for me. I had been keeping up with these guys for the most part, but a couple mental mistakes, it happens. But now suddenly I find myself way out of the lead. Hole 12 is one of my favorite new holes on the course. It is 620 feet, Mando to the left of some of the bigger trees. This completely replaces a couple different holes we had that, frankly, I felt were some of the weaker holes on the course. We went from two kind of must birdies to a very interesting par 4. As Aren just misses that Mando tree there. There's a few things you can try to do here, but really what you want to do is kind of hyzer up to that Mando tree. Adrian is trying maybe a bit too much here. He ends up hyzering out left, and he's not going to have a clean look at the opening from there. Reliford. This hole should set up pretty nicely for a lefty, but he just leaves it a little too left. He needed to get about 10 feet farther right, and he'd had a look. And I want to bit overstable on this. I didn't want to go OB right. There is a cart path. And instead, I put myself as close to this stinking tree as possible. Here's our camera woman doing some fun work. I allowed for it. Not the easiest stance, not the best camera angle. So I tried to do a little forehand pitch out, and it cut rolls. But that's inbounds and safe, so I should be able to clean up par there. Here's where Adrian ended up. And we missed his throw, but he tried to go through the woods, maybe a bit ill-advised. And now he's just further in the woods. So he's already going to be throwing 3 from in there. Here's Nick. Actually, he did end up in a pretty good spot. You can see the basket is another 300 feet downhill, tucked in between some trees. And that is a fine shot.
Oh, where are you right next to it?
And there's Adrian.
Yeah, I think that's close enough if you go either
Hiding in the woods. No ghillie suit or anything needed. He's just nice and tucked in there. Flicking, I want to say a zone at this point. And that got up there a good way, so he's going to have a long look to save that par, but he's at least closer to the basket than he was. And that's from the drop zone from Aren, and I believe he has a chance of saving his par despite the missed Mando.
Adrian's just like in love with the branches today.
Yeah, so Adrian is just kind of playing woods golf today. He didn't like the fairway on this hole, so he's just staying in the shape. Nice pitch up, and he'll be parked. He'll be taking a bogey, but at least it'll be a tap-in bogey. Here's my birdie shot. I just wanted to try to put this one a little close. The wind was picking up.
Great putt.
Aren with a nice par save. We'll let Adrian go next. That will be a bogey for him. Nick with the birdie. I'm going to just tap out my par. All right, so hole 13. One of the more open holes on the course, 340 foot. You can take a backhand hyzer or a forehand hyzer. There is OB on both sides. Basket is tucked in between 4 trees, but they're manageable. They don't really come into play other than for aesthetics purposes. You see the basket down there. You can't really see the sidewalk from here, though. Sets up nice for lefty or righty. And Aren just turns this a smidge too much. And that is sailing. He just barely crosses the out of bounds up there. And I rolled my wrist on this, which I don't usually do. Something about the wind started getting in my head. I threw one of my most overstable quasars, but it couldn't quite find its way back in when throwing that badly. Adrian takes the same line, but better. So here I am. Wheels still fallen, but I will have a tap-in bogey. I feel like that was Aren to save par. Easy birdie for Nick. He's starting to pick up some strokes that he'd lost earlier. Birdie for Adrian. Another plus sign for me. And that'll be a bogey for Aren as well. Now we see that Nick and Aren have tied each other at the top as we reach hole 14. Hole 14 was always one of my favorites on the original layouts. It is a 700-foot par 4. However, we did push the tee pad back and to the right. It used to be over to the left a little. If you can see the area where the sidewalk curves around there in your screen, it is now farther back to the right, which not only lengthened the hole by about 30 feet, but it also makes this tee shot a little less open to where you have to either go through a group of trees or go around them. And Adrian just went big time there. He clipped trees, and I still think that went about 450. Aren just opting for the straight shot. Nothing wrong with that. And he'll get up to almost to the short pad that we used for the recreational divisions. I'm throwing my flippiest outlaw here, hoping to just get a big ante. And it turns a bit much,
Well, it's in bounds. Pardon me.
but it does stay in bounds. Aren's got a long way to go here. Catches the last tree. The fun thing about this hole is there is OB around the basket that really tightens the closer you get. Again, I'm going over stable Quasar here. And I left it short, but in bounds. I just wanted to be safe. Nick was as close to OB as he possibly could be without going OB. But then his second shot, he did. He just couldn't fade back in on the left side OB. Adrian is way up here. And he flicks, again, I believe, a
I blame your
zone.
parents.
And Adrian's my buddy, so I feel bad saying this, but I feel like that was his worst shot o' day. He went crazy out of bounds on a shot he could have probably very easily just backhanded up to. So there's Aren. He'll have a shot at par. This is a birdie look for me, and I wanted it, but not enough to put it in. Didn't catch the hat. Up shot from Nick. So you can see the out of bounds all the way around. Huge putt from Adrian to save his par. Aren for par. Me for par. Hole 15, 275-foot, par 3. We lengthened this a little. In one of the earlier layouts, my friend Patrick King aced this hole. Shout out to PK. Adrian going a little long here. Aren going the backhand route. There's OB right. You can go either side of the tree depending on how much you want to bring him into play. That should be a birdie, you would think. And have you ever thrown a disc that you didn't know that well in a tournament and you instantly regretted it? I'll just chalk that up to that. That's not lack of experience. I did know better, and I just didn't listen to myself. Nick going the lefty hyzer. And that lands pretty darn close. So here I am again, trying to save a par and not.
No, it's...
Adrian for a long birdie attempt. He did remark to me later, as this gets real close to OB sidewalk, birdie for Aren. Adrian did remark to me that he was not thrilled how many baskets OB came into play on putting. We did kind of try to do that to punish spin putters who are trying to run the basket from everywhere to try to make you think about it, so we might change it if we ever do this tournament again, or we might not. I kind of like making people question their life decisions a little. I mean, I know I did. as I took another bogey, birdies for Aren and Nick, and another par for Adrian. Hole 16, this is another hole that we have lengthened. The tee pad used to be up about 50 feet farther, but I wanted to make this more of a tunnel shot. It has always been a par 4, so now it is just a trickier par 4. As Aren rips this through, and he misreleased, throws a little low worm burner, and skips immediately out of bounds. The wind was picking up, as I mentioned earlier, so this is a very thought-provoking hole when you're on the tee. Nick, that's a good shot there. Adrian just going whip cracker.
That's fine for getting the birdie.
And that went up there. And I decided I'm going to throw a safe forehand into a tree that kicks directly out of bounds onto the sidewalk.
I don't know that he would have wanted me recording.
For more tips on how to not play tournaments, just follow me in videos. Again, this is a good shot. I don't know why I choose to throw good shots after bad shots, but I got up there. I'll maybe be able to save my par. Aren in the same boat, just trying to get up there somewhere safe. We're neck and neck. We'll have similar looks at the basket. Adrian going forehand. And that is a fantastic shot. He'll have a real likely look at birdie. Reliford trying to do the same thing.
Get it.
Also way up there. And this might be a little wide and short. He'll have a look to save his par. And I think I'm just going to go putter hyzer. No worries. And this is heading right in. Might be a dunker. And just trickles out of bounds left. So Adrian might have a point there about out of bounds near the basket. I regret nothing other than my score. Aren saves his par. Nick will have this for birdie. He's thinking about it. Fixing the chains as a good competitor will do. And Adrian gets the birdie. Hole 17, this is a brand new hole. Similarly, almost in that must-get category, it is a left to right shot. You cannot see it, but there is a bunker to the right. There is sidewalk to the right, so speed and power control is a necessity here. You can't just whip it out there. Aren finding the hyzer line. And I'm going forehand. This is that same disc I shouldn't have thrown earlier, but I threw it okay here. I believe I ended up with CTP. Not that there was one on this. Other competitors may be a little worried leaving it a bit short. And with that sidewalk, Nick says, no thank you. Smart pitch up. Aren's at an angle where he can probably run this one. I think he's just outside the circle. And that stayed in bounds, but that was scary. I lied. Adrian might have some. I do have this. It's a birdie look. Try to right this ship a little bit. Only about a 25 or 30 footer. See if I can correct my putting woes for the day. No. Sorry, guys. Aren first par. Nicely done. Adrian, Park City, USA. Adrian, what are you doing, buddy? Put those in. He's a young guy. I know he will learn stuff from this. If you look at any of his 2022 scores, he definitely did. little pat, little apology for that previous putt. There we go. That's what you want to see. And par for me. hole 18. We see a lot of these scores knotted up. A lot of people's favorite hole on this course. We did move the tee pad from where it used to be. It is now closer to the hole 18 golf course tee pad, a little farther ahead of that. We had heard some people talking about wanting to see the flight of the disc, and so we moved it so you could. That's a great shot from Nick. This hole is very long, but it is very downhill. Might be one of the hardest par 4s on the course just because of wind. We also, whip cracker. Adrian smoked this thing so much. So something happened that I didn't think was even an issue on here. That's going OB left down by the bridge. That's like 650 feet down there. That needs to hook up. Those trees might be an illusion because that's a fine shot, and that's getting a great skip, and he's way down there. Right. Apparently, we only caught the end of my shot, but it is doing some things. I'm also getting some lucky work. I threw it straight at the trees, and I found my way out. Again, I'm just going a little too overstable here. That's my most stable quasar at the time. Something about the wind got in my head, and that's one of those things in Illinois. You never quite know how much it's going to affect you. Nice rip. I'm not really even playing for birdie at this point. As you can see, I've got a good ways down. If you played this hole before, you'll notice that is a different basket location. We wanted to make it more like a pro tournament basket location, so there is a golf green OB carry on the right if you play on that side. We just wanted to make this a little bit more of an epic ending hole, especially if anybody wanted to watch. You could have spectators down there. Also helped to lengthen the hole as Nick goes this tight tunnel shot when he easily could have gone around the other way. And that's pretty good. He'll have a look from that. This is where Adrian ended up off his drive. Just ridiculous stuff. He also goes this tunnel route when he could have just thrown a hyzer. I guess nobody wanted to flirt around with the golf green, and he just goes too far. Too much power, Adrian. Dial it in. Just calm down a little. Again, I wanted nothing with the birdie here. I had a bad enough round. I wanted to walk away with a par, get to the second round, see if I can make it any better. Adrian, he's just had an up and down day. He'll have better days, I promise you, but just not his round. I say that about him as he's shooting minus, 3 or 4, whereas I'm taking a +6, but the youth are the future of the world. So, par for me. Aren for his birdie. And Nick to tap out a par. All right, and that wraps it up for the first round of the 2021 Highland Open. As you can see, Nick and Aren are knotted up right there at the top. I appreciate you guys watching. You won't be seeing me anymore, but I will promise you that I actually shoot better. I shot under par the second round, but that doesn't matter anymore. We'll have some high-stakes action, and we will see who will be the 2021 Highland Open champion after round 2. Thanks for tuning in. Stay spicy.